Hey guys, my name is Maria Borde. I'm an author and the mom of 3 autistic children. Sometimes I refer to them as my kings. This channel is all about sharing tips and strategies that will empower you as a parent so you can unleash your child's full potential. You know, as a mom of 3 autistic kids, I get it. I know what it's like to want to go out to the mall or do something as basic as buying groceries. And you're afraid to go because you don't know if your kid will have a huge meltdown. Maybe the place is new, the lights are too bright, there is too much noise, so the line is too long. I know there are days that you probably feel like giving up, but I do not want you to give up. First, because I know you have the power and the strength within you to make all of this work. And second, because I also know that you're trying your very best, and you need to know that. Let me tell you something. When one of our kings was younger and he didn't understand the concept of times and days, he will have these very aggressive meltdowns because he didn't know what to expect next. He didn't understand what a day meant. He didn't know what Monday or Friday was. So transitioning from one activity to the next was very upsetting for him. He will bite, kick, hit and scream all day. These were very stressful times as we were physically exhausted, mentally drained, and on top of that, completely homebound because even the sight of a fly will cause him to get these huge meltdowns. It was like having a constant ticking bomb, ready to explode at any minute. When we were outside, it was worse because we also had to put up with ignorant comments, stares, and of course the judgment of complete strangers who don't understand what your children and my children have to go through daily. Meltdowns have been a huge part of this journey as a mom of 3 autistic kids. And I'm sure for you too. I'm actually surprised that I still have hair on my head and it's long, as you can see. Hear this out. Some years ago, when we were coming back from an outing in town, we decided to take a taxi back home. But it was not the same kind of taxi our kids were used to. So when king number 2 saw that we were going inside a taxi, he had a meltdown of humongous proportions. He started shouting, crying, kicking, and biting, while the driver was attempting to get us to our destination. I cannot even start explaining what went on. When king number 3 saw all of that, he also had a huge meltdown. So at this point, we were actually trying our best inside the taxi to hold them tight so they don't end up hurting themselves. But somehow, king number 2, like Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four, the one that has elastic superpowers, well, he was able to stretch himself and open the back door while the taxi was already in motion on a busy road. Complete madness. All the drivers passing by, were observing the whole situation in disbelief and giving us, the look at, are you all kidnapping these kids? Because let's face it, if you are driving, right, and you see 2 people in the back of a car trying to hold 2 kids that are screaming and kicking, what will cross your mind? I would probably think the same thing. We asked the driver to drop us to a location where we could get the kind of taxi they were used to. We paid him extra money, of course, for putting up with the screams and the entire drama. And once we put them back in the new taxi, they took a little while to calm down, but they eventually did. What made these moments really difficult is the fact that we didn't know what possibly could trigger these meltdowns. Because king number 2 didn't have any speech and he couldn't tell us what was bothering him. When we went grocery shopping, for example, he will also have these huge meltdowns. And yes, we could have chosen to leave the grocery store and return on a day, which we did many times. But we also realized over time the importance of exposure, particularly to activities that are vital for independence one day. As a matter of fact, exposure has been the #1 key to reduce the meltdowns over time. So if we took him to the supermarket and he will have a meltdown because he was, for example, unfamiliar with the place, we will come back the next day and continue to do so little by little, exposing him to this new environment and staying in the store a little longer every time, and allowing him, to settle down at his own pace. It was not easy at first. It took a lot of time and a lot of patience. So if you plan to follow this route with your child, I suggest that you do so when you feel strong mentally, so you can cope better. We did this in every place that was new to him, until one day, it reached a point when he became familiar with these places, and he will be very calm and accepting of the new environment. As a matter of fact, right now, at the age of 13, he carries the trolley around any supermarket, Familiar or unfamiliar, helps pack the groceries, and overall he has a great time shopping with no meltdowns whatsoever, and all of this due to exposure over time. Guys, I have so many other things that I cannot wait to share with you about meltdowns and other autism related topics that really made a difference. If you're watching this video and you are at your wit's end, please hang in there. It is not easy, but we are in this together. I would love to know about you and your story and how you cope with autism meltdowns. So please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment in the section below. I also have some other videos with autism tips that I'm sure will help you.